I found my parents outside, elderly, shivering, standing on the porch of my home like beggars, while inside, my in-laws drank wine, laughed, as if they owned it all. My father's hands trembled. My mother's lips were blue. They looked at me with shame, not anger. That cut deeper than the cold. And in that moment, something in me snapped. It wasn't always like this. When I married into her family, they smiled, shook my hand, pretended to welcome me. Her parents offered advice, her siblings cracked jokes, her uncles called me lucky. But under the politeness, there was always the shadow. They saw me as lesser, a son-in-law with no wealth, no legacy, no name worth mentioning. I thought I could win them over with patience, with time, with success. And I did succeed. Promotions, a house, stability. Everything I built was for her and for the family we were supposed to be. But with every achievement, her family only reached deeper into my life, until the lines blurred. My wife let it happen. And now, years later, my own parents were locked outside while they feasted at my table. The betrayal didn't come with fireworks, it came with whispers. My wife insisting it's easier if my parents handle the finances. Her brother temporarily storing his business inventory in our garage. Her mother making copies of the house keys for emergencies. Each step small, each request harmless. Until one day my parents knocked and no one answered. They weren't wanted in my house. The locks had been changed. I didn't confront them that night. I didn't shout. I took my parents in, fed them, warmed them, and promised myself I'd never let it happen again. But rage without strategy is wasted, so I started planning, quietly, calculated. Step 1, documents. The deed to the house was still in my name, the mortgage too. They thought handling the finances gave them control, but they never checked the signatures that mattered. Step 2, surveillance. If they wanted to act like it was their house, I let them. I installed cameras, recorded every party, every sneer, every insult. Hours of footage of them toasting in my living room, mocking my parents, belittling me. Step 3, timing. They had grown too comfortable, too loud, too entitled, which meant their downfall would be public. The chance came quicker than I expected. My in-laws threw a grand dinner at my house, invited half the neighborhood, even people from her father's business circle. They called it a family celebration. I arrived late, unannounced, suit pressed, parents beside me. The room went silent when we walked in. Her mother tried to sneer. "Oh, we didn't know you'd be joining." I smiled. Of course, it's my house after all. Then I opened the briefcase. Inside, copies of the deed, the mortgage, the bank records, all with my name. I laid them on the table like cards in a game I had already won. Their smirks faltered. I clicked the remote. On the TV, footage rolled, them laughing, mocking my parents, bragging about running the show. Their words filled the room. Every neighbor, every guest heard it. Her father stood, red-faced, stammering, You can't." I cut him off. Actually, I can. And I did. The eviction notices had already been filed. Their access to the accounts? Cut. The keys they copied? Useless. I had let them dig their own graves, and then I pulled the ground out from beneath them. One by one, the guests excused themselves. No one wanted to be tied to the collapse they just witnessed. By the end of the night, the dining room was empty. Plates half-eaten, glasses half full. My in-laws sat in silence, their empire of arrogance crumbling in front of them. The climax wasn't loud. It was the silence, the sound of their control evaporating, the way their faces sank when they realized they had nothing. I took my parents' hands and led them to the table. For the first time in 15 years, they sat at the head, where they belonged. I raised my glass. You celebrated while my parents froze outside. Tonight, you learn what it feels like to be left in the cold. I didn't wait for a response. I walked out with my parents, left them sitting in the ruins of the life they thought they owned. Do I regret it? No. They destroyed themselves long before I intervened. All I did was shine a light. Now, when I sit at my table, my parents beside me, I feel no anger, just peace. Because I learned something that night. Betrayal doesn't always scream. Sometimes it locks the door quietly and leaves you outside. And revenge? Revenge is opening the door only to show them it's no longer theirs.